Good morning everyone. Today I will be presenting about Langston Hughes. Langston Hughes grew up in a struggling working-class family and was one of the major leading figures in the Harlem Renaissance, a group of people with African-American culture that formed a group identity, which emerged around 1920s and 1930s. They expressed their identity through creative arts, including music, art, dance, politics, and literature. Hughes' works are mainly based on literature such as poems, which he often talked about his dark experience in the past through the message he sent in the poem. In this presentation, I will be analyzing how identity and culture are expressed in the language of poetry through poems called Mother to Son and I Too by Langston Hughes. I will do this by analyzing the use of literature devices including metaphor, structure, incorrect English, intertextuality, dialogue, and storytelling. Since the focus of his work are mainly about Black experience, we can get the idea of this poem referring to those kind of difficulty that the African American people face. So before going into the point, we will look at the overview of the poem. So this poem is about a mother teaching her son based on her own tough experiences as a Black woman. She taught her son to embrace the struggle so that her son could learn from it and be stronger. So, the first personal identity that I found is his race as an African American. The author's identity as an African American is expressed through the first two lines of the poem. In the first line, it's more like when the mother is talking to son, as the word son tells us that the speaker is mother and that she's going to teach her son a life lesson. The second line is where we will be focused. The author uses the metaphor of crystal stair to refer to the easy pathway or the privilege that the white people have. Because crystal stair is a symbol of smooth, luxurious, and beautiful life of the white people who are wealthy and privileged. However, the Black people's life is not as easy as that. They have to undergo dark pathway, a more difficult way. This is why there's another metaphor of dark and no light, which could be referring to issues like racism and unequal opportunities. Therefore, these metaphors tell us about the difficult life experience of Black people, and the issues that the author tried to convey about is conveyed as if the author had experienced it himself, so his identity as an African American man is revealed through this metaphor. Moreover, there's a use of structure like repetition, which repeated the phrase "life for me ain't been no crystal stair." The author repeat it to emphasize the meaning that life for the Black people are not easy, which is the message that the mother is trying to teach her son, and at the same time, this is the message that the author wants the audience, who are African Americans, to remember that life are not easy for them, which means they have to keep fighting and be tolerant. All in all, the author's race as an African American man is revealed through the use of metaphor and structure that mention the difficult life that African Americans had to deal with. The second identity found in the first poem is lack of education. It's found through the use of incorrect English from the phrase ain't been. This is incorrect because normally people who are educated wouldn't use this word since it's bad English, and they would use has not been instead, as it is a correct terms. They suggest the speaker's lack of education and social class as a low social class. The third identity is civil rights activist. This is found in another poem called I Too. This poem is about a story of a Black man that was excluded from the American society, even though he's authentically American, and that means he's also part of the American society, but he got rejected from the society. Even though he got rejected, this man has got a positive mindset that he will preserve, tolerate, and develop a powerful cultural tradition, and hope that one day people will realize his huge contribution so that he will get accepted into the American society one day. The first literary device he used to express this identity is intertextuality. So he used I Too Sing American to refer to another poem by Whitman to refer to another poem by Walt Whitman called I Hear American Singing. This poem by Whitman highlights the idea that American society is created by a diverse group of people. However, Whitman did not include black people as one of the creation of American society in his song. So the technique is used to express his disagreement with the American singing poem that black people also contribute to the nation, not only the group of people that Whitman referred to. This makes the audience think that the author is trying to raise the issue of American racism, which is what civil rights activists generally do. Another language technique he used is dialogue. See the sentence, eat in the kitchen. So the use of dialogue make the audience to feel the aggressive voice and tone that black people receive in a sense that is more similar to the real world. This demonstrates the feeling of injustice that the man in this poem cannot sit with the others at the table. Again, the author was trying to raise the issue of American racism, which is what civil rights activists would normally do. There's another technique he used, which is the storytelling. This could be seen in the conflict solution structure that he used the American racism as the conflict, and then the solution could be seen in the last part of the poem where he said, "They will see how beautiful I am and be ashamed." This sentence means that black people will show how beautiful their culture is and everyone has to consider them as part of the American society. Therefore, the solution the author offers is for the black people to be accepted so that they receive equality. This means Hughes promotes equality through storytelling. Overall, his identity as civil rights activist is revealed through the use of various language techniques that demonstrate his perspective on American racism. In conclusion, his identity as African American who lack education are expressed in the first poem, Mother to Son, through the literary devices and incorrect English. In addition, his identity as civil rights activist is revealed in the second poem, I Too, because his perspective on American racism is provided through language techniques including intertextuality, dialogue, and storytelling. Thank you for listening.